Hello, Monday the 19th of September, one of the most boring days that I can remember, at least this year. Nothing really happened in the morning, and as a result, for the third morning in a row, we ended up with losses in the morning. And we actually made it up and made some profits in the afternoon. But mornings are really very tricky to trade. There is no volatility, no ideas, and quite a lot of false breakouts. Let's start with the euro US dollars. If you look at this, this is the morning. You have less than 15 points volatility. There's no way that anybody can make any money on this. Well, at least I guess so. We would have entered here. The first trade was here. You could see that really nothing happened. I was pretty bored and fed up. And once you have this doji here after this breakout, you decide that it's a good idea to get out of break even. In the afternoon, we didn't take this one. Actually, if you look at this, it looks as if there is a signal here, but look at this high. This high is a 67. This high is 68.5. So the first thing you can enter is this one at about 70. But you see that there's already been a double top in the morning here. So we filter this. We also filter this because we were in cable, so it would have been a correlated trade. As it happened, the system worked well on this. You would have made points, but obviously we didn't. Not all was lost, because then we had this pattern here. The euro went up. It formed some sort of range here where it was basically thinking about what to do at the pivot, and was rejecting the pivot all the time. So once you had a breakout after the pivot, that was a good idea to get in, and quite tight because the volatility is very low. And try to get 8, 9, 7, 10 points. In this case, we could have got 10 points, and then the market went down. It was a much better day for cable. There was first of all a scalp, a very lucky one. It was exactly 10 points. It would have been great if the market actually went to this pivot, but it didn't. But anyway, so that was a good one. We ignore this as we don't trade at this time. And then we have a signal here. So we entered about here, and we had to wait a bit. And then the market went up. The volatility was pretty low, so we could have actually entered with more lots than usual in this particular case. Even with $10,000 account, you could have entered with 2 lots, and the first target would have been this 10 points at this point here. But actually, a better way would have been to see if it finally could test the daily pivot, and it did. So you could have had one out here and one out here, or wait all the way until here, take one off here, the market then retraces a bit, but you're still in, and then you get this other one and you get out here. If you have just one lot, you had a re-entry opportunity here, but unfortunately it would have been probably just a break even, nothing more than that. But a very positive outcome on cable today. And then we have oil. Really boring stuff on oil. We had a loss here in the morning. Sorry, I've forgotten to put the entrance here. Loss here in the morning, market was going down, but then you had this rapid, let's call it rapid, reversal here. But it more than made up in the afternoon. This was an advanced entry. Actually, on another system, I actually had a signal, but this is not actually the right bar to enter, the right candle to enter, because you have to wait for this to close, and it's on the red here. However, this is the opening of the cash market. It's not very important, but these days I notice that it's quite important. So I actually used a much wider buffer, and I put a buy and a sell at the same time, one cancel other. This is a pretty advanced trade that would have worked. This wasn't advanced at all. This was perfect. Market went up, little retracement, more or less at 50%. You were clearly on a buy signal, so you could have got this. So really good stuff on oil. Let's do the indices in the same video. This is YM. Let's start with YM. You can see that this looks pretty interesting, but if you look at the numbers, really, there's nothing here. You would have had the signal here entered a little bit above these two here, these two spikes here. But if you look at this, it's a 33, 34, and this is a 36, so you wouldn't probably have entered here. Buffers up a little bit higher today. You would have entered here with higher buffer, and you would have had a loss. Actually, I didn't take this one because I was already in on the DAX, where I had a loss anyway. I told you that wasn't a very good morning. This was a better opportunity. You had a sell signal here. Given the day, you might want to give a little bit more buffer. Anyway, it's a little bit of a tricky thing here, because this is we would have entered at 205, and we want to close definitely the market at 220, 225, so you had to enter a little bit quick. This is the stop. This stop is really too high. If you want to enter this for a very long, very short stay, probably the best stop should have been here, above this spike here, and above this moving averages, and then you would have moved it. In this instance, you would have had your scalp and get out just before the market open, New York open. Then you have a buy signal, which was triggered here, and you would have had another nice scalp. But we are just talking about scalps today. Again, this huge movement goes to 8 to 68, is 60 points, so it's really nothing to write home about. Finally, the DAX, a pretty frustrating day for the DAX. We started pretty well, actually, with this breakout here, where we got 10 points. But then, if you were really greedy, you would have said, well, this was gap opening. They didn't manage to close the gap, so it should go the other way. So the first breakout was on the up, was quite okay, but I was expecting a better outcome and a much bigger move. So I entered here with a re-entry, so an advanced trade, and of course I was stopped out. So nothing done really on DAX. A bit of a loss overall, because this was just a scalp. And it was a scalp because after I'd taken the first half of the trade out with 10 points, the second one was obviously a break even. Afternoon, basically I was following the YM, and it was pretty good that I did it, because this would have been a loss, this would have been a loss, this would have been a loss. The YM moved a little bit more. We don't trade the DAX when we trade the YM at the same time for correlation reasons, so we were kept safe, and we basically avoided all these losses. So we ended up quite well, relatively well, but we started pretty badly in the morning. So never lose faith.